Coming up on MilCyberSync, the U.S. government calming fears over potential election fraud.
Also ahead, I catch up with Andy Stewart, a national security government senior strategist for Cisco, on the importance of STEM. Those stories and more, so get ready to get in sync with MilCyberSync.
You're watching the MilCyberSync podcast with Nick Thomas and Layla Guland.
Hello and welcome to the MilCyberSync podcast, reporting on the latest events happening in cyber news. I'm Layla Guland with your host, Nick Thomas. Good to see you, Nick.
Good to see you, Layla. And hey, if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube, click on that notification bell for our latest posts. A multi-million-dollar security assistance package is being delivered to Ukraine in an effort to help them fight the Russian invasion. The equipment includes 4 satellite communications antennas, marking the first time SATCOM antennas have come directly from the Defense Department's arsenal. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk had originally donated Starlink satellite internet terminals to Ukraine, but has since asked the DoD to financially intervene as he could no longer fund the service. The $275 million security assistance package is the Biden administration's 24th drawdown of equipment from DoD inventories for Ukraine since August of 2021. The U.S. has committed approximately $17.9 billion worth of security assistance to Ukraine since Russia's invasion in February, according to the Pentagon. The number of systems and devices that can generate data is expanding exponentially and is overwhelming human analysts. Despite the information overload, keeping the human in the loop is an essential element in analysis and decision-making, which is where the observe, orient, decide, act cycle, better known as the OODA loop, comes in. The OODA loop is a 4-step approach to decision-making that focuses on filtering available information, putting it in context, and quickly making the most appropriate decision while also understanding that changes can be made as more data becomes available.
Yeah, data generated by space, air, water, and terrestrial systems and sensors are isolated and siloed, each with its own data handling process, making them difficult to access and fully utilize. This is restricting rapid assessment and inhibiting decision-making by the U.S. government and the military. The Navy's Project Overmatch, along with the Army's Project Convergence, and the Pentagon's Joint All-Domain Command and Control are all working to improve the ability of forces to more rapidly assess situations, share information, and act on it, not just collect more data. The key to any intelligence system is keeping the human in the loop in the OODA loop. An intelligent decision support system is designed to augment the analyst. Using the capability of an intelligent analytic technology relieves the task of data gathering, providing the analyst more time to focus on the actual analysis. Nick.
Well, Vice Admiral Kelly Ashback is feeling the pressures of 21st century warfare. She's the commander of Naval Information Forces and ensures the personnel steeped in information warfare are properly trained, equipped, and available. She says they are increasingly in demand across the U.S. Navy as competition around the world gets stronger. Information warfare, or IW as it's known, is a fusion of offensive and defensive electronic capabilities and cyber operations. It combines data awareness and manipulation to gain an advantage before, during, and after battles. The proliferation of communications and other advanced technologies and their prevalence in militaries around the world has given recent rise to the concept and its persuasive powers. The service also established Fleet Information Warfare Command Pacific. This entity is postured for a vast region of the U.S. deems vital to international security and financial well-being. The Pentagon considers China its number one threat, and Russia's a close second, Layla.
Yeah. Well, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers has announced its 2022 Government Agency of the Year Award winner, and the award goes to the National Security Agency. SHPE is focused on cultivating Hispanic leadership in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The collective effort between NSA and Hispanic Latino Employee Resource Group volunteers has raised awareness of STEM disciplines across underserved minority communities and increased diversity at the agency through its student and full-time hiring efforts. Over the last 2 years, the HLAT ERG increased its professional development activities sixfold. Last year, it helped strengthen the workforce through virtual mentoring events, interactive language sessions for non-native Spanish speakers, virtual intelligence community agency tours, power hours, book clubs, and awards and recognition programs. The annual award is presented to a government agency demonstrating exceptional support of SHPE's mission. Nick.
Well, speaking of STEM, Layla, I had the opportunity to speak with Andy Stewart. He's a huge proponent of STEM. Andy recently presented at MCPA's first HammerCon on transforming DoDIN cyber operations with network infrastructure as code. He's a national security and government senior strategist for cybersecurity at Cisco Systems and works across Cisco's global government practice, but focuses primarily on national defense and intelligence. He's been with Cisco for the past 4 years after retiring from an almost 30-year career in the U.S. Navy, where he last served as the Chief of Cyber Operations for Fleet Cyber Command U.S. 10 Fleet. He's a graduate of the Selinger School of Business, Loyola University of Maryland, and the Cybersecurity and Policy Executive Program from the Harvard Kennedy School. He's also a graduate from the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California, the U.S. Naval Academy, the National Defense University, and the Naval War College. With all those accomplishments, you can say his passion is about cybersecurity, training, and learning. I sat down with him and his co-worker, Miss Rebecca Chisholm, who is Cisco's senior leader for their network academy. Hey, Andy, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Nick. Thanks. Great to be here.
Awesome. Great to have you on. So a lot of the things that people are asking about you are, how did you get into cybersecurity, being so high up in the military and the Navy? And what do you currently do for MCPA?
Sure. I'll try not to tell too long of a story, but I jumped into the cryptologic warfare community from the surface Navy, and I was really attracted by the specialization, education, and quite honestly, cyber was still sort of an emerging thing, and I won't date myself, but it was a while ago. And what I really enjoyed about the community was the opportunity for continuing education. We would have the opportunity for refresher courses at Naval Postgraduate School, or we'd have online training that was available. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, being sort of a perpetual student and always curious. And by the way, technology is always changing. And so one of the interesting things about the career and about being in the cryptologic community was the need to stay up to date and fresh on technology. And so that was one of the things I thought was just great about being in the cryptologic warfare community. And then I got to do amazing things when I was in command and then at Fleet Cyber. But I'll hold there just to kind of tell you that's how I got into the community. I was really attracted by the specialization.
That's great news, and I've seen you at HammerCon. You did a couple things there for our first ever conference. Can you tell the listeners and viewers what you did there?
Sure. I was talking about taking a DevOps approach to network operations, which I think is sort of an interesting approach to DevOps. It's really taking a look at infrastructure as code and how we can actually start thinking about building infrastructure through code, through all the APIs and the software-defined networking capabilities that are available today and continue to be increasingly available. And again, taking this back to training and education, it was something that I actually learned after I retired and when I came to Cisco and I started really getting into it. And so again, it's a fascinating area, it's an emerging area, and one that requires continuous study. And that's why I love giving back to the community and with MCPA and why Cisco's involved with MCPA. It's because it's really about raising the game for everybody and getting opportunities like stuff that Cisco Networking Academy provides to learn and grow the skills that we need in this tight military cyber community.
That's awesome. And I know you brought someone along to tell us a little bit more about what the Cisco Network Academy is and how it can help STEM.
I did. I brought Rebecca along, and we have some amazing things happening with Networking Academy, and some amazing announcements about what we're going to do in the next 25 years of Networking Academy. So, Rebecca, over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Andy and Nick. I'm honored to be here. As a dependent of military, I grew up in a military family. My dad was a naval aviator. My first husband was a B-52 command pilot, so I have a special place in my heart for the military. I run Networking Academy for the U.S. and Canada, and Networking Academy, for those of you who don't know, is actually the world's longest running IT-based training program. We're 25 years, celebrating 25 years this year. In the U.S. alone last year, I trained over 218,000 students across K through 12, community college, and university. I just looked at my data, and last year we trained close to 10,000 military personnel through the Army program, the Marines at 29 Palms. This is in CCNA and cyber. We also actively supported a program that was National Science Foundation funded called the Cyber Warfare Training Program, and it really was aimed at separating veterans, first responders, to provide them with cyber training skills to get them to cross-train and move into a new career field. So we're really honored to be supporting that. This July, we made a commitment to train an additional 200,000 people over the next 3 years in cybersecurity skills. So I'm very focused on that through programs like the Air Force Association Cyber Patriot program, as well as the college level collegiate cyber defense competition. We're investing early in our youth to get them aware of cyber, trained up, and get them on the escalator to those jobs, both in public sector and private. And then our CEO just announced at the beginning of our 25th anniversary that we're committing to train 25 million individuals in the next 10 years with a special focus on underrepresented, underserved, those with disabilities, those coming from marginalized communities. So our whole purpose is giving back and training individuals. Cybersecurity is our fastest growing curriculum because we know in the U.S. there is an estimated 700,000 openings for cybersecurity talented individuals. So thanks very much for having me, Andy and Nick.
Wow, thanks, Rebecca. And Andy, Rebecca, you guys work for such an awesome company that teaches people how to do cybersecurity, how to get into cybersecurity, and especially now we have such a huge gap in cybersecurity that we need trained people that really know what they're doing, and from all sides of life, right? It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a techie. You could be, someone who does psychology or nothing to do with technical, but as soon as they learn these skills, next thing you know they're subnetting, next thing you know they're doing some crazy technical stuff. That's really awesome.
Yeah, no, I think diversity is part of cybersecurity's superpower, and Jen Easterly said that, so don't just take my word for it. But at Cisco, we believe in empowering an inclusive future for all. That's our mission. And it's about building a future that's, as Rebecca said, is available to anybody regardless of education, geography, gender, or ability. And so, being a part of the digital economy isn't a luxury. It should be an opportunity for everyone. And it should be an opportunity for everyone at every point in their lives. And just going back to my focus when I was in the Navy was having that continuous availability and having the availability in the language of my choosing, whether it's online and whether I need an instructor. And a lot of the resources that I point to at the Networking Academy are available free or pretty darn near free for the military cyber community.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
I'll let Rebecca talk
I'd like
about
to add
Sorry,
on to
Rebecca.
that. So traditional NetAcad is offered through the educational institutions, K through 12, community college, and university. But this January, we launched a new offering called Skills for All. And the focus is on a cyber pathway. It's 180 hours broken up into small bite-sized modules. Anybody with a mobile phone can access Skills for All. And at the completion of that pathway, you do get digital badges along the way. But at the end of that pathway, you will get an industry-recognized cybersecurity credential from Certiport, evidencing mastery of those skills to enable people to get. Our job is really focused on getting people in entry-level skills. There is a misperception, both Nick and Andy, that you have to be a whiz in math or you have to be some analytical genius to work into cyber. That's not true. That is not true. I'm a psychology major, and I did a stint doing some cyber analysis early in my career. So I think that's a myth that we want to dispel. We desperately want to get more women into the field. And so I think Skills for All is a great opportunity for people in the military, those that are separating, spouses of military. I know as a spouse for the military, you often move around a lot. It's hard to have a career. Getting a cyber cert allows you, every place your spouse is based, there will be an opening. So there's an opportunity there. And even for children of our military community who are thinking about, what do I want to do in the future? Have them try out the cyber pathway on Skills for All. It's gamified, it's engaging, it's interesting. So I'd encourage people to take a look at that. It's completely free to anyone.
And Rebecca, what is the link they can start to go through to register or just to look?
Skillsforall.com.
Skillsforall.com. All right, and that's great.
I hope that was what you wanted. I hope I didn't go on too much, but
no, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Okay. You know, I always talk about, people ask about cybersecurity. I was like, no, you don't have to be technical. There's people that are not technical that are just so good in this field. I remember when I was at 10th Fleet, one of the guys I was working with used to be a torpedo man. I'm like, what? You loaded torpedoes and now you're here subnetting and you're a chief and all this stuff? Yeah.
And actually what we find is the best cyber teams, whether offensive, defensive, pen testing, whatever you might be, the best cyber teams are composed of some people that have strong technical, mathematical, analytical skills, the crypto wizards, but there are also people who bring a different way of looking at the problem, or who bring those collaboration skills or deeper analytical skills. And when you bring that all together, you have a great solution. And I always say you cannot populate an entire team with propeller heads. I say it kindly, but you need some of those softer skills to make the team work and to say, what about this? We didn't think about that, so.
Awesome. Andy, Rebecca, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
That was so interesting. Thank you for that interview, Nick. Well, before we go to break, if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, click on that notification bell for our latest posts related to everything military, cyber, and cybersecurity.
Also, if you'd like to donate to the MCPA, it's easy with Amazon Smile. If you click on the link below, you can start shopping, and a portion of your purchase goes to MCPA at no extra cost to you. Plus, we're proud to take part in the world's largest and most successful annual workplace charity, the Combined Federal Campaign. Our CFC code is 10386, and we appreciate your support.
When we come back, becoming cyber dominant, from keeping personnel in the loop to training, staffing, and more. We'll have that story more after the break. Now, please enjoy this message from one of our sponsors.
Today's network and security monitoring solutions are vulnerable to overload situations that lead to decreased visibility and undetected intrusions. Monitoring applications require hardware to keep up with real-time traffic analysis, making it complex and costly. Your security monitoring solutions may be unable to keep up during cyber attacks or traffic spikes, making intrusion more likely. A new approach is needed to increase network protection and visibility. Axellio simplifies and streamlines your network monitoring for critical security, network, and application analysis. Learn more at axellio.com.
And welcome back. Members from U.S. Space Command's Joint Integrated Space Team met for their semi-annual conference last month. The members from each GIST convened for the 4-day conference that provided update briefs on the command's activities. This allowed for face-to-face dialogue between the typically geographically separated GISTs, encouraging the exchange of ideas and discussion of best practices for supporting their respective areas of responsibility. These teams are comprised of individuals assigned to U.S. Space Command who are hand-selected for their knowledge of space systems and demonstrated ability to synchronize diverse mission requirements. GISTs are element of space experts who provide combatant commanders with planning considerations and recommendations for effectively leveraging space-based capabilities in their operations and their plans. Layla?
Well, the Navy is looking to bolster its robotic platform on the high seas. The Sea Service is conducting market research to see if contractors would be able to satisfy anticipated program requirements for a new unmanned attritable UXS mothership. The Navy is exploring this ARMS concept as it looks for a way to cost-effectively deliver large numbers of unmanned systems to forward locations in a contested environment. Key performance parameters include autonomy capabilities such as navigation autonomy, optimal weather routing, and payload delivery behaviors, as well as 360-degree camera coverage and a full motion video uplink. Having a low-cost, uncrewed, attritable vessel that could perform this task would allow the Navy to avoid putting manned ships into harm's way to conduct these missions. Nick.
The Air Force is still keeping its plan for how it will operate in the information environment close to its vest. The Operations in the Information Environment Strategic Plan identifies key activities and milestones to transform how the Air Force operates in this space to achieve a vision where information is foundational to all military activities. Operations in the information environment leverage the inherent information aspects of military activities to affect behavior and meet Joint Force Commanders' intent. The publication of the strategy follows several moves by the Department of Defense recently to elevate information ops, which many outside experts believe has been neglected for some time, to the benefit of sophisticated adversaries. Layla.
Yeah, well, today there are at least 6,200 military and civilian personnel serving the Cyber Mission Force. They comprise 133 teams of the CMF, which execute the command's mission to direct, synchronize, and coordinate cyberspace operations in defense of U.S. national interests. Members of the CMF work to ensure commanders across the Joint Force can operate freely in the cyber domain and accomplish their assigned missions. Among the areas of responsibility include cyber protection teams that defend critical infrastructure, cyber combat mission teams that conduct military cyber operations in support of combatant commands, and combat support teams that provide assistance to national mission and combat mission teams. The force is projected to grow by 14 new CMF teams in the coming years as U.S. Cybercom continues to meet increased threats from malicious actors and foreign adversaries in cyberspace. Nick.
The U.S. Navy is highlighting the values the service is using to shape its cyberspace investments and improve its day-to-day digital posture, including what one official described as the ability to, quote, fight hurt. The cyberspace superiority vision contains 3 tenets: secure, survive, and strike. These pillars are fundamental to maintaining maritime dominance and ensuring Navy and Marine Corps operations proceed smoothly across increasingly cyber-contested environments. The right cyber investments are critical as the U.S. positions itself for a fight against technologically advanced opponents such as China and Russia. The 3 factors are meant to work in concert, producing a sum that is greater than its parts. The combination is also meant to fortify cybersecurity, shielding sensitive information from prying eyes, while providing commanders the tools they need to virtually reach out and ding a target. Layla?
U.S. Cyber Command has hosted its CyberFlag 23 TAC 1. This multinational tactical exercise invited more than 250 cyber professionals from 8 different nations to train. Together, they operated as 13 national and multinational cyber teams with 3 supporting elements that work to counter a combined opposing forces team. The exercise utilizes the Test Resource Management Center's TRMC National Cyber Range NCR. This allows for real-world tactically focused training and information sharing of tactics, techniques, and procedures among all the partners. The platform provides exercise designers with a level of versatility to adapt training situations to what the cyber protection team's CPTs might experience in their day-to-day defensive operations. CyberFlag is an annual Cybercom defensive cyber exercise that provides realistic, hands-on keyboard training against the activities of notional malicious cyber actors in a virtual training environment. The exercise is designed to enhance readiness and interoperability by exercising collaboration through realistic defensive cyberspace training with the participating teams and observers. Nick.
It's a lot of cyber there, Layla.
A lot of cyber.
And finally, here's a quick reminder for MCPA members. The MCPA Fort Meade chapter event at Dreamport has been rescheduled to December 1st. It will take place in conjunction with AvengerCon, and we'll have more of that to follow.
All right, sounds like fun, Nick. Well, if you're in the car listening and would rather watch, be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel. Find us at Military Cyber Professionals Association or MilCyber.org for all our content related to all things military cyber and cybersecurity. And please make sure to like and subscribe and click on that notification bell for our latest posts.
Also, if you'd like to donate to the MCPA, there are two easy ways. First is with Amazon Smile, and by clicking the link below, you can start shopping, and a portion of your purchase will go to MCPA at no extra cost to you. The second way is through the combined federal campaign. Even $1 will greatly help our mission, and our CFC code is 10386, and we thank you so much for your support.
Indeed we do. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching and listening. You're now in sync with MilCyberSync. We'll see you again next week.
This has been the MilCyberSync podcast, brought to you by the Military Cyber Professionals Association. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube, click on the notification bell for our latest posts.